Hello everyone, and welcome to this month's video here on Potter Tongue. My name is Chris, and for today's video, we get to talk about all the classes and subjects available at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. So as we should all know, Hogwarts students are required to take 7 traditional classes when starting out. Those classes are Charms, Transfiguration, Potions, already said Charms, Herbology, Defense Against the Dark Arts, Astronomy, and History and Magic. For the first 2 years, that is their schedule. It's no surprise for any of us who've spent a significant amount of time with the 7 Harry Potter books that upon entering your 3rd year at Hogwarts, students are required to select at least a minimum of 2 additional classes. These classes are Arithmancy, Ancient Runes, Divination, Care of Magical Creatures, and the most popular one of all, Muggle Studies. Just kidding. As we know, Harry and Ron take Divination and Care of Magical Creatures. Hermione, on the other hand, well, she's got her time turner to get to all of her classes. But personally, I would choose Care of Magical Creatures and Ancient Runes as my 2 additional classes. And I'm not just saying that because we know very little about the other classes like Ancient Runes and, let's say Arithmancy, but I'd say with Arithmancy, even though it's Hermione's favorite subject, which is saying a lot if you know Hermione Granger, just based off of what we know about the subject, that it deals with numbers and using and applying applications to predict the future, I would expect the number 7 to appear quite a lot throughout the class because, as all of us die-hard Harry Potter fans know, 7 is the most powerful magical number in the wizarding world. Let's just go through some instances where 7 has appeared throughout the Harry Potter books. There's 7 classes at Hogwarts that you traditionally start out with. There's the 7 floors at Hogwarts School. There's the 7 starting players on each Quidditch team. There's the Dark Lord's 7 Horcruxes. There's even the 7 obstacles to protect the Sorcerer's Stone. And there's the 7 Weasley children, as we all know. And even with everything that Arithmancy has going for it, I still wouldn't take it. I would prefer Care of Magical Creatures and Ancient Runes as my complementary classes, basically because of my desired Wizarding World career that I would want to pursue after Hogwarts. Now, let me just go over what my prediction for my O.W.L.S would be, and keep in mind, this is setting aside my unholy bias. So, as we all read in Half-Blood Prince, Harry got his results for his O.W.L.S that he took during his 5th year when Umbridge was at the school, and he had a total of 9 classes, and the 9 classes that I would take are here. Let's start with Ancient Runes. I imagine a class that you don't start off until your 3rd year is going to be pretty heavy in terms of not just subject matter, but intelligence needed to successfully pass the class. So with it being a very important class for my wizarding career, I imagine I wouldn't be kidding and messing around in that class and would actually apply myself. So I predicted E for Ancient Runes. Astronomy, on the other hand, not my forte. I actually took a Muggle version of that class in college and didn't really take to it, so I can't imagine I would be too thrilled to take that in the wizarding world, and see, as it doesn't really apply to my desired career, wouldn't give that much effort, and can see myself getting an A. Care of Magical Creatures, on the other hand, seems like an easier class to take, not just because Hagrid was the teacher for Harry, but actually what you're learning in the class, the magical creatures, would be very fascinating to me. And it, like Ancient Runes, would be one of my higher desired classes that I would want to be more excited and really invested in passing. So for that reason, O for care of magical creatures. Charms, on the other hand, really has your bread and butter spells, with the Wingardium Leviosa spell and Alohomora, basic everyday spells, even Reparo. But as you progress further along in the class, you have to master more difficult, complex spells like the Summoning Charm, Accio, that Harry learns in his 4th year. So given that I would have a basic background of everyday charms and that it's just an overall good thing to have in a wizard's arsenal, long what's the word I'm looking for? A big arsenal of spells to choose from for the mundane and the confrontational. Now, Defense Against Dark Arts, I think that's one of those classes where you're only going to get an O if you're predisposed to it, like Harry was. But it still is a class that a lot of people take and really need to further their wizarding education and career. So I imagine myself doing fairly well in that one. Herbology, I find that one of the most fascinating classes. When I was first reading the Harry Potter books, wanting to take that class so bad and just imagining myself in that class, I think I would do really well with everything it has to offer. Now, History and Magic is currently my personal favorite class that I would be most excited to take at Hogwarts. I know that's not a popular opinion, but it's mine, and I think I would be very attentive and take some special potions to keep me awake for Professor Bin's class. And I think I would pass with flying colors, wanting to learn the history and legacy of everything that I missed in the wizarding world, giant wars, goblin rebellions, and etc. And then potions, very complex, but still very cool class that it'd be interesting to see how I would be able to master Snape and his teaching method. But as a Slytherin, I think I would get by fine with the E. And lastly, Transfiguration, very complex, one of the most hardest classes and forms of magic, in my opinion. You start off changing a sewing needle into a match. Later on, going to more complex demonstrations of magic from a porcupine to, let's say, a pin cushion, and even larger animals with vertebrae that are much more difficult to do. So I think I would still do fairly well in that, given my magical background with the E. Now, leave a comment down below on what your complementary classes would be entering your 3rd year. You could pick a minimum of 2. Sometimes students pick more, like Hermione, but realistically, I would take 2 because of my busy schedule being on the house Quidditch team. Now, for 6th and 7th year, moving on, this would be my newts that I would take in my 7th year. And these are classes that I would only take because I got an E or higher on my O.W.L.S. And the first 2 are my complementary classes. Obviously, I would want to pursue them given that I decided to take them for specific career purposes. Charms, very good to have for a roundabout wizard's talent and just overall use in the wizarding world, very complementary. Defense Against the Dark Arts, again, a lot of people in the Harry Potter fandom are most fascinated by this class, and rightly so. I would want to pursue that. And of course, History and Magic, I would want to soak up and learn as much as I can and really take advantage of having a ghost as a teacher. I think that would be pretty fascinating. So I would take that, all 5 of those for my newts in my 7th year. And yeah, I think for a lot of us Harry Potter fans, the classes at Hogwarts School, Witchcraft and Wizardry, are one of the main things that draws us to Harry and his life at Hogwarts, because we can imagine and daydream going from class to class just like him and learning all the magical, fantastical, wonderful things that he does throughout all of his classes. And one moment. Now, on Pottermore, aka WizardingWorld.com, it's been revealed that there's a class called Alchemy that older students, I believe 6th year and above, can take if it's in high demand. It's not offered or available every year. This isn't something that's discovered in the books. It's revealed only online with J.K. Rowling's articles. Now, I think that'd be really cool with certain students trying to go into different unique branches of not just jobs, but talent that someone might have. You know, Victor Crumb, he's very skilled as a Quidditch player. Hermione Granger, she's skilled at everything but Quidditch. And, you know, Harry Potter, he would make the best Auror, and Tonks is equally talented as an Auror, even though she's clumsy, but she has the disguise as her skill. She was born with it, but that's what helps her make a great Auror. So if someone was predisposed and very talented at alchemy, like what Nicholas Flamel does, then I can see Hogwarts offering that class to someone. It just never comes up in the Harry Potter books. Now, there's nothing really more I could say about what's taught in all the classes that isn't already explored in the books, but one of the things that the movies left out from the books was that in the books there's a bell that sounds whenever a class ends or is about to begin, and I thought that was a little detail that they missed out that they could have brought to the movies that would have made it more authentic. But just thinking about Order of the Phoenix, when Umbridge had to go from class to class, basically overseeing and inspecting all the teachers, deciding whether to put them on probation or not. Sorry, Trelawney. But how busy and fast she had to walk. I mean, she was getting her steps in, because sometimes she had to go all the way up to the North Tower, and then after Harry's class, she had to go straight to her Defense Against Dark Arts class that I believe Harry had next. So that must have been a really tough job on its own, let alone all the mischief the Weasley twins brought to her. But I really would pursue a Quidditch career if possible before my desired traditional Wizarding World career, if you would, but nevertheless, I would be equally as thrilled and excited to get started on my classes arriving at Hogwarts. And I think for the vast majority of new Hogwarts students, that's what appeals to them when going to Hogwarts, learning all the new magical things that they can grow with. So that's really it. Not too long this month on my video on the classes and subjects Hogwarts has to offer. This has got me wondering, because there's an article on WizardingWorld.com that basically names and goes into a little detail about different wizarding schools around the world. We know about Beauxbatons and Durmstrang and Ilvermorny and Castelabrucho for some reference in Brazil. But do they offer different special classes that Hogwarts doesn't? That would be interesting to get into, because we know Durmstrang offers more insight and application with the dark arts. They don't just study the defensive rubbish using Malfoy's words. So that would be cool to visit that school and see where the differences are between Hogwarts and other schools. But like I said, that's pretty much all I got for you today. Look forward to seeing you in my next video. And if you like what you saw today, check out my other videos because they're cool too. So, until next time, cheers.